Hi everyone, it's Ariel Rahmanov with Aliyah Homes. We have a special guest here, Russie Schreiber. She made Aliyah during seminary right before COVID, right?
Yeah, right
Right
before.
before COVID, and she has a great story to tell. Russie, can you tell us a little bit about your story? Maybe introduce yourself a little bit to us.
Yeah, so I'm Russie. Um, I grew up in New York in the Five Towns. I went to SKA for high school, and I went to Harova for seminary, Shana Aleph and Shana Bet. After my Shana Bet, I decided to make Aliyah, which was almost a year ago, actually, which is crazy. It went by so quickly. I think there's something about Corona that's just making time go by really fast. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
that's
almost
true.
been my year anniversary.
That's true. Like everything is kind of like all one, long day,
Yeah, exactly. Every day is literally the same.
right? So why did you decide to make Aliyah middle of seminary? Like, it's a little young.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, I wanted to make Aliyah my whole life. It just the idea of living in Israel was really exciting to me, and I didn't even know it was like an option to make Aliyah at 19. Like I didn't know it was allowed, you know.
Right.
So then I went to Harova, and like for the first time, I was really able to like picture my life in Israel and see like it actually like can happen. It makes sense, and a lot of my friends were also making Aliyah, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like this is an option. Like I can do this. And I think also because it was something that like I always wanted to do, like I kind of like labeled it as like a dream. And because it was always on the top of my head, the second the opportunity presented itself, I was like less hesitant to go get it, you know? So when the opportunity presented itself, I figured like I always wanted to do this. And either way, after seminary, I was starting a new chapter, like whether it was college in America or college in Israel. So like I might as well make Aliyah now while I'm starting my new chapter anyways. Like it fit perfectly in my timeline. So I think it like actually made the most sense to do it now.
Right. And you weren't scared. Meaning, like, did you feel any fear in making Aliyah? I mean, you're by yourself without your immediate family uh, uh, making Aliyah. I mean, I know you do have family in Israel, but like being independent, was it at all frightening?
Yeah, so of course it was a little scary, but it was, I don't know, the fear is kind of exciting. Like it would be kind of boring if it was just like, oh, whatever, I'm making Aliyah, you know? Like it was fun that I was like taking on an adventure and a challenge. But of course there's like some fears along the way, but like I was excited to like be like, regardless of the fears, I know I can do this, which was very like inspiring to me.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. That's great. And I'm sure there are many people out there right now who are thinking about making Aliyah, and they also have that fear, but maybe they should realize that that fear is it's normal. It's a good type of fear, right? That's the
Yeah.
fear you had.
Yeah.
And as I want to just go back to something you said, you made Aliyah. You wanted to make Aliyah uh, and go to school in Israel. Do you think that would be more? I guess because you don't speak Hebrew so much. I know you're learning it now, but did you feel it would be easier in Israel or it would be harder in Israel? I mean, you could have just gone to New York and got your I don't know degree in Queens College and then just moved to Israel. Like, did you see a benefit in that or?
Right. Yeah. So I totally did see a benefit in like starting off like as early as I could in Israel. And especially because I'm not good at Hebrew, I definitely want to get like a head start on working on the language.
Right.
So I figured like the best way to integrate myself into the society was just to start school in Israel, start learning Hebrew. And I knew I wanted to live here in the end. So like I'm eventually gonna need a job that's gonna be in Hebrew. So I figured the earlier I get to like start and have that like academic Hebrew, the better off I'll be.
Right, like you'll learn the, I guess, like the jargon of the industry, going to school in Israel,
Yeah.
basically. And how are you learning Hebrew? I mean, do you have any? Are you taking Ulpan? Do you have a private tutor?
Yeah, so I'm really into Ulpan. I really recommend it for anyone that wants to learn Hebrew. It's crazy. I went to like school my entire life and I like never learned Hebrew as well as I'm learning it in Ulpan, which is amazing. Um, so right now I'm actually doing Hebrew Use Mechina, which is preparation for college in Israel. It's like geared towards international students. And part of the Mechina is in Ulpan, so I'm in that now. And it's really hard. Hebrew is like really hard for me, but like I'm excited. I'm excited because I know eventually I'll know it. I have to like sometimes it gets a little discouraging because it's so hard, but like I keep having to like spoil the end of the story. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to keep saying like I know at the end I'll know Hebrew. I just have to like go through the motions now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's hard work, like,
Yeah.
but it's worthwhile. If you can just integrate yourself and learn the language. I mean, the best way to do it is just to force yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
Like surround yourself with people who only speak Hebrew and just, you know, I think
Yeah.
someone told me, like, I know my dad made Aliyah and and I said, how did you learn the language? He said, well, if you need to go to the bathroom and you're only around Israelis, you'll learn how to say, where's the restroom?
Yeah. Also, my friends always say, like, the more you embarrass yourself, the better off you'll be because you'll never forget the word whenever you embarrass yourself in a situation. Like, then you'll remember it forever. So I got very used to embarrassing myself in Hebrew.
Right. Now you made Aliyah like right before COVID, and you were living in Israel like during the lockdown. Like, how did you cope with that?
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was scary for me, just like it was scary for everyone because we like didn't know what was going on. But a part of it also, because I just made Aliyah, like there was an added excitement in the whole thing because like me and my friends were all just figuring it out together as opposed to like the world kind of shut down in the time of Corona. And I felt like people felt like the world was shut down and they were kind of bored and stuck. And like I just felt like I was just beginning this adventure, which kind of made like added a little more excitement to the whole like Corona thing, as exciting as it could have been.
Wow, that's really cool. And you were with friends at the apartment, which definitely made it easier. And yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun with my friends.
So where do you live now?
So now I live in Katamon.
In Katamon.
Yeah, I moved in like I think 4 or 5 months ago, and I really love living there.
Right. Is it is it friendly for young people, or it's more of like what's the situation there like for
So
uh
I think it has a little of everything. It has like young married couples and then younger people like more around my age and also like just families and older people. I think it just has a little of everything. Um, but because of Corona, it like I couldn't really go to shul yet. Like there's outdoor minyanim, which is really nice. I daven Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur outdoors, which actually was really nice. I really liked it. And it was also nice that like every block had a different minyan. So no matter where you go, you were like surrounded by davening. Um, I also had a lot of friends living in the area, so that was nice for me too.
that's nice. So you have like a social life there.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess just to wrap up, what message would you give to everyone who are in your shoes, who are thinking about making Aliyah, or people who aren't even thinking about making Aliyah? What message would you give them?
I would just say that like don't let the fear of like chasing after your dreams stop you. The fear is kind of part of the excitement, you know? Like get excited about doing something that scares you and you're able to do it regardless of the fear.
Right. Just push through.
Yeah.
Just push
And
through.
then you can
Yeah.
look back and be like, oh, look what I did. Like that's cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to add? Or
Um, just that Israel's really amazing and I really recommend it for anyone that's thinking about moving.
awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for hopping on the interview. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure everyone who's watching definitely gained some insight into your experience, and hopefully it'll encourage them to make that journey as well.
Yeah, I hope so.